So it's as if you can divide the world into two types of people. You've got those people who know exactly how to start a story, and those people who don't. And so the other essay that Fisher uses is one by H.P. Lovecraft, which is his Supernatural Horror in Literature essay, which is an absolute tour de force of literary knowledge of about the last 180 years or so. It's written in 1926, and I think it goes back proper to 1757 with the publication of the Castle of Otranto, which is famously the first Gothic novel. It's where that set of ideas comes together in one place and is then mimicked on an industrial level. Well, what is it? It's exciting, it's scary, it plays with the adrenaline. Well, perhaps the best thing to do is to quote the start of that essay, because it's a famous quote by Lovecraft. The oldest and strongest emotion of mankind is fear, and the oldest and strongest kind of fear is fear of the unknown. The creeping chaos, the darkness, the void, all these things encapsulate that idea of cosmic insignificance. So this sense of cosmic insignificance is what the ability to conjure that in the reader is what Lovecraft is interested in, and that's his measuring stick for critiquing what becomes the weird tale. Those things that play around with that sense of categorization. I must have been in my 20s the first time that I read Lovecraft, and I wasn't that impressed. I think Lovecraft and Emma James I got exposed to because of the music of Marquis Smith in The Fall. Those really great, the creepy songs. Stuff like Spectre vs. Rector. I think everything up to that kind of early 80s period has got this. It's always touching upon the folk horror. I remember not being that impressed by H.P. Lovecraft. I remember joking with a friend about how he would always describe something as being undescribable. And then I read The Weird and the Eerie by Mark Fisher. And in that book he tries to differentiate between some keywords, what it means for something to be eerie. He frames as a problem of agency. Something there that shouldn't be there, or nothing where there should be something. Eeriness. The eerie cry in the forest. And then the weird as being a problem of categorization. The things that don't fit neatly or at all. And that really resonated with me. There's a few avenues that he takes in trying to describe what the weird is. I found both fascinating and important. Because I guess, like all of these types of investigations, it's as much about learning something about yourself as well as wherever it is that you go to. And so I went back to H.P. Lovecraft, and at the same time I started to read another book as well, called In the Dust of This Planet. And that pretty much put me on the same path. The Eugene Thacker book. He's got this framework of trying to understand varieties of perspective. And he uses a word in describing that nihilistic reality that in the eyes of the universe, as opposed to this very religious idea, I guess, although I know that's a difficult word, but that we're important, is that we are just utterly insignificant. That existential kick in the pants. And Lovecraft describes that clumsily and quite flowery, and not without all kinds of other issues going on as well. But he describes very well this idea of cosmic insignificance, dread,